Personal finance in 5 minutes. These are introductory videos. I'm not going to go deep into every single topic, but I'm going to give you a decent understanding of every single topic pulled from the finance curriculum so that you can go out there and try to live as good a life as possible. Career planning. It sounds simple. Hey, you should plan for a future career. It's not that easy. The problem is we don't know what the future holds. I could sit here right now, and a lot of your teachers, unfortunately, and a lot of your schools and politicians have told you, learn to code, be a computer programmer. These are the jobs of the future. They don't know what the jobs of the future are. You look at the same people that have been saying these same things. Look at what jobs they were talking about 10 years ago. Look at the jobs that they were saying 20 years ago. Almost every single time they have been wrong. They cannot predict the future. They can't do it. There are some safe and steady jobs that may always exist. We're probably always going to need doctors. We're probably always going to need nurses. We may need teachers. I'm not completely sure. Police, firefighters. There's some jobs that seem like they're always going to exist, but you don't know for sure. And so everyone's saying computer programming, it's all about computers. Well, here's the problem with that. And if you just sit down and think for a second, you look at all the other jobs that are disappearing. We'll just take computer programming for an example because the government and your leaders and your teachers are always telling you, be good in the computers. Well, first of all, computer programming, a lot of those jobs are sent overseas. It's just a language. That's what computer programming is. If anyone learns the language, they can make money off of it, and you can teach that language to people in other countries that work for less money. That's going to be jobs that leave the country. That's going to be jobs taken overseas that drive your wages down. Number two, another story the teachers are not going to tell you, HB1 visas. We can bring, not only can we send those computer programming jobs out to other countries, we can also bring them in. We can bring in cheaper labor with an HB1 visa, and we can pay them less to create computer code. So you then are going into a job interview for this career that you've planned for, and it's either you or the guy that came from India or Asia. And they say, all right, we're going to pay you $10 an hour. You can say, hey, that's not enough for me. Well, the guy that came from another country, he may have a lot less debt, and he is definitely willing to work for it. So either he gets the job and you get no job, or you accept the lower wages. So you've got jobs going out, people coming in to take the job. And then number three, which is another likely scenario, if you're planning a career in coding, it's that, hey, there's a possibility that we can program computers to program computers. It's just a language. We can teach computers to code. And once the computers and the AI and the algorithms learn to code, then guess what? We're not going to need very many people coding anymore. I'm not saying that all the coding jobs are going to completely disappear, but a lot of them will, just like in other industries. It's not that every factory job is gone, but a lot of the factory jobs have left, which is lessened the opportunity to get a job, and it's also lowered wages. And you can see that in almost every sector of the U.S. economy. And that's why planning for a career is really important. Unfortunately, I can't sit here and tell you this is the job to go to. What you have to do is research all of the careers. You need to look at all the different categories and find out what suits you. Is it wages? Is it safety? Is it an interesting job? Is it a job that you want to do and will do? You don't even care. It's just a job, and you're going to have fun with your family and your friends. You don't need your job to be fulfilling. These are the decisions that you have to make when you plan your career. And the only way to do this right is to look at all careers, but also to evaluate your own needs right now and try to guess what your needs will be in the future. There isn't a career that's absolutely automatically going to work. Teachers that tell you that are being lazy, and they're just telling you things that they were told. Oh yeah, computer programming, that's what they should be. Oh yeah, they're always going to need doctors. You have to be careful with the advice that you get from adults. I often wish that I would have listened to adults more, but that's not necessarily the entire truth. I wish I would have listened to some adults more and some adults less. At the end of the day, though, you can't blame them. You've got to do the work when it comes to career planning. Trends in the marketplace. As I mentioned before, some jobs are not going to exist. We talked about that. Truck drivers probably not going to exist. Computer programming, it's going to exist, but it's not going to exist like it does now. Right now is the boom, and we may have already experienced the boom. There will likely be less programming jobs. There could be more. I'm not completely in tune with the trends in the marketplace. A lot of things can change over the next 20 years, but I've given you a couple scenarios where it could go worse. Teaching. Well, here we are, and we're teaching online now. So if we can do this, this could be a trend, and this might be the end of teaching. How many people can I teach with this finance video? You just need one of me recording the one video. Maybe you can fire all the finance teachers around the world. Wow, you're bragging. No, I'm not bragging. But if you look at some of my other videos, social studies, American history, civics and economics, maybe we don't need civics and economics video teachers anymore because I got those videos locked down. Also, it's not just about jobs. It's about buying products. Coronavirus is a perfect example of if you were like me and you were ahead of the curve, then you knew to buy certain things. If you do your research, if you're reading online and you're not just listening to mainstream media or the corporate media, if you're following many different outlets of information, that you knew that the coronavirus was going to be a real big issue and you stocked up on a lot of things back in early February, like me. How did I know this? How did I know everything was going to happen? How did I make sure that I got supplies to protect myself and my family and I got them at a fair price? Because I did the homework. I paid attention to the trends in the marketplace. And it's not just for coronavirus. These things will happen all throughout your life. If you know when to buy certain goods and when to sell certain goods, you just have to pay attention to the trends in the marketplace.